Hello everybody, welcome back to another recap video. Today is October 3rd and I'm just coming off of a super busy weekend and I wanted to share my thoughts and reflections on the month of September with you. So my recap video, I go over my numbers from the previous month, meaning my sales numbers, and I kind of talk about how I think things looked in that month, and I talk about goals, whether or not I achieved them, things I'm working on, and things I'm looking forward to. I really worked hard this month in September, and last month, trying to get into a groove after my kids all moved out. September kind of started my journey as an empty nester. I have 3 kids and my youngest went off to college. That's where we were over the past weekend. We visited Rocco. We also had an event in Boston for a nonprofit called Birthday Wishes. It's an organization that brings birthday parties to children in homeless shelters. And we started out as volunteers maybe 3 or 4 years ago, delivering birthday gifts in the city of Worcester. Jay is now on the board. So they have a birthday shuffle in Boston. It's a beautiful event and it's a fundraiser. And then Sunday was my husband's 50th birthday. Sunday we went to see the King Tut exhibit that was put on by National Geographic. We also went to the vintage market in the south end of Boston. It was a new to me place and it was so much fun, and I'm gonna have that on my other channel. So let's look at numbers first. On Poshmark, my sales were down like $900. However, I ran a huge sale in the month of August. I did like $1,700 in 24 hours and I unloaded a ton of items. I did 50% off anything that was over 120 days old, and I hadn't done that in a really long time, so it generated a lot of sales. So I moved 138 items in the month of August. In the month of September, I only sold 87 items on Poshmark. My average selling price on Poshmark was $40.70 in the month of September. In the month of August, it was $32.39, a little bit lower because of the sale that I offered. On Poshmark in the month of September, I did $3,541 in sales, which I wasn't disappointed in. I feel like things are finally leveling off after kind of the doom and gloom of the Poshmark algorithm and the summer slowdown, and things were just looking so dismal for so long, and I feel like they're bouncing back. eBay, I only sold 7 items and I did $265 in sales. I really feel like all of my other platforms besides Poshmark have really taken a hit because of Whatnot, and with me, I feel like something always has to give. Poshmark remains a big priority and Whatnot was a big push over the summer. On Whatnot, I had 6 shows in the month of August, 6 shows in the month of September, so we're kind of comparing similar stuff. I didn't do the breakdown of the number of items that sold. I did $4,009 overall in sales in the month of August on Whatnot, and in the month of September, I did $4,133. So very similar, a little bit stronger in the month of September. I actually decided to give you some numbers. This is from September 4th. I did $1,121 in sales and 77 items went out the door. Those items do include buy it now items, which are typically stickers that I sell for $4. Sometimes I can have up to 10 buy it nows in a show. And I also do a few giveaways that are about worth $5 each. So those are also included in these numbers. So it's a little bit skewed. You can't like divide it by the amount sold and get an actual number, because there are other factors that are included in that. This is my 3rd show, September 11th, $964. Total items out the door was 72 items. Then on September 14th, this was a lower sale. There were $277 in sales. This was a Disney show that I tried, and 42 items went out. $809 with 89 items out the door. This, I believe, was a kids show that I did. So each show kind of has a personality to it. $632, that was the most recent show that I did on September 28th, and 69 items went out the door. I just wanted to show you the breakdown of each show and let you know that included in all of these shows were, like I said, buy it nows and giveaways. So I'm curious what you think. I sold way more items over here on Whatnot, but a lot of these were items that I wanted to move to get out the door, maybe things that I was considering donating, or items that I would not have picked up for Poshmark, but picked up at a very low cost of goods specifically for Whatnot. I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. Let me know if you think I had more success by selling about $4,100 on Whatnot with the amount of items that I moved, or would you consider my $3,500-ish sold on Poshmark more successful? So in total, if you combine my sales on Poshmark, Whatnot, and eBay, my overall sales for the month of September were $7,939. I would often struggle to pass $5,000 or $5,500 when I was just on Poshmark, eBay, and Depop. I think I had one sale on Depop this month, so I'm not even reporting on Depop. Whatnot has definitely pushed me to kind of the next level, but I do think that there is some fatigue on Whatnot right now, and I was very cautious when I joined Whatnot. As much as I love the platform, I think I'm probably going to go down to 4 shows per month. In quarter 4, I want to beef up YouTube. I'm going to have my Happy Holidays, which is 10 days of videos in the month of December. I think that buyers who've been buying, they're maxing out. And I think a lot of people, which I'm really happy about, have been accepted to sell on Whatnot. But I think there needs to be a little bit of growth on the buyer's end, because now we have been flooded with sellers, which I think is great. I want everybody to have an opportunity to sell over there. And it's nice to see people with no social media platform, no prior experience on YouTube, really killing it over on Whatnot. I think the struggle right now is because there are so many sellers, there are so many shows happening at once, it can become difficult. So I kind of feel like less is more for me over there. I don't want anybody to get sick of seeing me on Whatnot, and I want to give myself some time in between shows because they are very labor intensive. Also, as many of you know, at PoshFest, which just happened last weekend, they talked about Posh shows. So Poshmark is jumping on board with the live sales, and I'm actually really happy about it. I am signed up to do some training over there in their beta and do a live show. I don't know what the date is. I signed up for my date, but I haven't looked at my confirmation. I think it's in November because I have to do my training first. So I'm certainly not one of the first people that's going to do a show over there. But my thought with the live shows on Poshmark is that they have such a huge audience of people who are already trained to shop on Poshmark. So many of my buyers who I speak to on YouTube and say, oh, go to my Whatnot show, they're unfamiliar with Whatnot. And, you know, a lot of people are resistant to change. So not everybody wants to go over to Whatnot, but there are people who are already on Poshmark. I'm really curious to see how Posh live shows are going to do. They're having less shows, at least for now. I don't know how busy they'll get, if they'll allow an infinite amount of shows to happen at the same time, or if they'll limit the amount of shows happening in each time slot. I have no idea, but I think that could be really interesting to see how they compare. Even though I'm sure there'll be a lot of technical changes and differences between the two platforms, I'm very excited to try Poshmark since they just have such a larger buying pool right now. I enjoy live sales, and they've certainly made a difference in my sales numbers. So I'm looking forward to see how that evolves over on Poshmark. And I'm also happy that when I jumped on board with Whatnot, I didn't let go of everything else, even though I knew my other platforms would take a hit as I was learning a new platform. For me, after going through what I went through on Clubhouse, which was this huge spike that everybody wanted to be a part of Clubhouse and everybody was on there. And then we used to call it a Clubhouse hangover. And for those of you who don't know what Clubhouse is, it's almost like a live podcast. So it was only audio. You didn't make any money, or at least I didn't make any money. I wasn't monetized or anything like that on Clubhouse, but it was a really cool way for people to connect with one another. But it was a huge time suck, much like Whatnot, without the results of sales. I'm sure there are still people on Clubhouse who love it and get a lot out of it, but I think there was this huge rise and this big dip over there. So I was cognizant of that, and I didn't want that to happen to me on Whatnot, where I just put all my eggs in the Whatnot basket. I appreciate the people who try new things, whether it's trying Depop or Mercari or Grilled, or taking that leap and trying a YouTube channel, doing your first live show on Whatnot. I have no patience for the negativity and people like hating on all the different platforms. I understand that people have a different experience, but to speak when you haven't had experience with it, or to make assumptions about a platform without the experience, is just kind of a pet peeve of mine. So I really applaud the people who are trying things, trying new things, pushing themselves outside of their comfort zone. And maybe you do something and you realize it's not for you, and you backpedal and you go back to something that's more familiar. Or maybe you try something new and it opens up this whole new world to you, and now you're totally on board. I'm hoping that you are finding what you need for your reselling business and finding your people and your community, whether it's on Whatnot or eBay, wherever it might be. I'm rooting for you. That's all. Thank you to Vendoo for sponsoring this portion of today's video. I wanted to give you a little tour of their site. So for those of you who don't know, Vendoo is a cross-listing service that allows you to cross-post your items to multiple marketplaces. These are some of the different marketplaces: Depop, eBay, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, Grilled, Tradesy, Shopify, Mercari, Poshmark, and Kittison. So as I scroll through my items, I can at a glance see where items are listed. So these Victoria's Secret Knockout Capris are listed on eBay and Poshmark. This Prada dress is just on Poshmark. And if it doesn't have an icon next to it, it means that it hasn't been listed yet. So that's what I would consider a draft. Vendoo has some really cool features where I can move items around. Once I'm on my Vendoo form, I can also pull things in and then save them. You can also brighten items or add contrast. So we take all of our pictures with my phone, and then I come in and do some of the heavier editing here in Vendoo. You can also turn items like that, bring it in a little bit more, and then I'll move the images around. I like to start my listing and end my listing with an image that represents like the best photo, I guess, so to speak. And then I'll alternate some of my looks. The descriptions are in here. I can indicate the condition and the size or color. So once I get all that information done, you click the category. So we have clothing, women, shoes, boots, and this is all with my Vendoo form. So now we'll come over to Poshmark and I can list the item. And all I have to do now that I'm in the Poshmark template is indicate the size, 7.5. I'm not sure what the original price is. I'm just going to put 0 and then list on Poshmark. Then you can go over to any of the other sites you want to list on. So in this case, I'll do eBay. This shows you the items you still have to include and then list on eBay, and then it will go live over there. And I follow that process for all of my listings and put it on all of the sites that I want it to. Every morning, as part of my routine, as part of my reset, I hop on Vendoo and I make 5 items go active, at least 5. And then on days when Tina works, we get a ton more done. This is where I do all of my listings. I don't do anything on the sites directly. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you want to give Vendoo a try, Lulu's talking in the background, click the link in my description and you will receive 25% off your first month of service. You will love it. My biggest sale of the month was a vintage Louis Vuitton Speedy bag. I had bought it with that estate sale from last year. It finally sold. It sold for $500. I had another one that sold for $299. That one was a little bit more damaged, but I paid approximately $100 for each of the Louis Vuitton bags that sold. A $200 investment for $800 in sales before fees. So I was really happy with that. I thought instead of inserting photos, I thought it might be easier to share with you some of the highlighted sales from the month. This was a Free People leather moto jacket that sold for $175. And this was huge to me because it had been a return. It was like one of those heartbreaking returns too, because I think it initially sold for $225. I want to say I paid around $80 for this. Don't know that I would do that again. I held on to it for quite some time. I bought it at Nordstrom Rack at least a year ago. This was a highlight when this sold for $175. I was very excited about that. Oh, this was a fun sale. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in one of my videos. Loved this Alice and Olivia pair of shorts. Sold for $55. I had it listed in like $85, $89 range. So this was a great sale. I know I paid $6 for this at a Goodwill in Boston. I made so many mistakes in the month of September, you guys. Like, I had multiple returns. I think when I ran that sale in August, it really threw me off. And so I was kind of paying the price for it in the month of September because I had mixed up a few. In fact, today I was still dealing with one of the sales that I had mixed up where I sold 2 buy one, get one free pair of shoes. I was running a deal on that. I sent 2 shoes to the wrong person. And so one of the orders was canceled. The shoes are still like missing. I don't know where they ended up. The other set I sent to the wrong address. I think I mixed them. I just got it back in my PO box. So I think I got it a couple days ago. Like, I'm still making up for some of the mistakes I made. I made a lot of mistakes this month. I had a lot going on apparently. But this skirt was also another mistake that I made. And luckily, my buyer was amazing. I sold this Adidas skirt. This happened when I sent out offers on everything that had been in my closet for over 120 days. So this was listed at 75. I sent out an offer for 37. I sent the woman a skirt that looked very similar. It was a vintage pleated Liz Claiborne skirt. And I grabbed that instead of this Adidas skirt. So she was kind enough to say, I really still want the Adidas skirt. So when you get the Liz Claiborne skirt back and you relist it, will you let me know? So I relisted it. I tagged her in it. I honored the price the first time around. And so this was a sale that's just coming through in September, but it was actually a half off sale in the month of August that I'm still working on. These were a great sale that I picked up at the bins, and I don't always pick up this brand. So I'm always happy when things that I don't always pick up sell. These soft cork sandals, they sold for $32. I was really happy about that, considering I only pay $2 at the bins per pound. And what were some of my other sales? Maybe I can just scroll through here instead of clicking on the big picture. Soul Cycle, that was a really quick flip. I think I paid $6 for this. And this Paisley Stripe Baja hoodie sold for $25. That was also a bins pickup. No, this was rummage sale. So I paid $2 for that. This Victoria's Secret sports bra sold for $20. That was also from the rummage sale. These Crocs, I'm pretty sure I got at the bins. They were like the Chelsea ankle boot. They were rain boots. Happy with that sale. These Aquatalia boots, I believe, were part of the 50% off sale, or I just honored a $50 offer on these. I had these listed much higher. I sent these to the Real, and my payout at the Real at best would have been about $16 or $20. So I reclaimed them from the Real, and then they ended up selling for $50. So just a little sampling of some of the sales. As I said, I did 87 sales in the month of September. All right, I am back right before bedtime, and I'm just wondering if there's anything else I want to discuss. A couple bundle sales, $90 and $100. This is a new to me brand, this Bond Eye Australia. This was a $59. I think this may have been a full price sale, which was really exciting. Have you ever heard of that brand? That was new to me. So let's show the details on that. Sold for $59. Poshmark fee $11.80. My net earnings were $47. And that was new with tag. I don't think I spent more than $6 or $7 on that. That was a great flip. New to me brand. I feel like I should do a video with all of the brands that are new to me. APC, this had been my death pile for the longest time, sold for $55. There was quite a bit of interest on that wallet. Same with this Free People Adela Crochet Floral Lace. I had this priced at like $78. The comps really warranted that, but in the end it sold for $50. There were so many likes on that. Sweaty Betty, that sold right after I listed it. Let's look at this. These were 2 things that were in a haul. I'm positive that this Sweaty Betty item was from the Nordstrom rack sale. I paid like maybe $10 or $15 for that. And it sold in a bundle for $120. So it essentially sold for $60. And then these Madewell jeans. Are these new with tag? Yeah, I think these were both from the Nordstrom sale. And that went to a viewer. This was the Heartbreaker, the Michael Kors. I honestly, in hindsight, think somebody bought this by accident. They purchased it outright for $225 and then canceled the order. This was another thing that sold the very next morning after I purchased this. House of Harlow and Revolve.
I listed it for $99. It sold full price the next day. This was like the day after the sale, which was fantastic, meaning the Nordstrom sale. All right, I think that is a good picture of what sold. So
let's shift gears and talk a little bit about finding your rhythm. I know for me, when my kids were growing up, I always felt like September was kind of like my new year as opposed to January. When the kids went back to school, that's when I really got back onto a schedule and I loved my routine. And this year looked a little bit different for me because while it was still back to school, I didn't have any students at home who were back to school in the traditional sense for me as a stay-at-home mom. I had to find a new rhythm, and as many of you know, as I talked about in previous videos, I wasn't really sure what this was going to look like. And I just want to say things are going pretty well as far as like the empty nest thing goes. I talk to my kids as often as I can, but I am very busy. I really thought that I was going to have a ton of time in the month of September, and I found that like, phew, I just filled the days, and I cannot believe that I'm filming this on October 3rd. I don't know where the month went. I just want to say that it's really nice. The kitchen is clean. We have half the dishes. We do the dishes. The kitchen stays clean. Oftentimes I'd go to bed on a weekend and I'd wake up. The kids would have people over. I'd be stumbling over like teenage boys in the morning because they would all spend the night. This was like the house. So it's very quiet without the kids. It's just been kind of easy as far as the day-to-day stuff goes. And I'm filling my time certainly with a lot of work. So as you know, my friend Tina started working in the month of September. We're heading into our first month together and things are going so well. Tina is extremely consistent, reliable, and hardworking and efficient. So it's been fantastic. She's been a huge help for Whatnot. I've kind of handed over the prep for Whatnot as far as photographing items or just weighing them and loading my store. And then she'll often come the day after a sale or the day of the sale and help me with shipping. It's given me the opportunity to refocus on some other things. So that's been a great addition to my September routine. I posted a video on Time with Tata and I kind of chuckled to myself because I'm like the queen of rabbit holes when it comes to planning. And my most recent passion has been going down the fountain pen rabbit hole. I'm like, what have I become? I'm obsessed with fountain pens. Like, what does that say about me? I've always been a fan of planner content, but on a lot of my planner videos, I've seen some information about fountain pens. So I'm like, what is it about fountain pens? Like, I've always pictured like very fancy and calligraphy. I don't know. It never appealed to me until recently. And now it's all I've been watching. I have 4 fountain pens now. I have a TWSBI, which is what I did a video on Time with Tata, inking my TWSBI fountain pen. I mean, this is riveting content, but I was so excited about it. I wanted to mention my fountain pens because it was a fountain pen video that inspired me to put a video up on Time with Tata. And that's been a goal of mine for a while, is to be more consistent over there. I kind of started that channel talking about Weight Watchers and my health journey, and I am constantly falling off the wagon when it comes to dieting. I've been kind of a yo-yo dieter my entire life. And I really thought that by dedicating some time on my YouTube channel and talking about Weight Watchers and healthy eating and exercising, it would keep me accountable. But alas, it did not. I'm okay with that, but I feel like I left people hanging because I was so excited to talk about my weight loss journey, and it really wasn't much of a journey. But I am going back to Weight Watchers this week. So look for more content on that on Time with Tata. But I felt like I just needed to rip off the Band-Aid. And so one day I decided to record a video on inking my TWSBI pen. So this has like a little chamber on the inside. You can see the ink going back and forth. I was really excited about putting some brown ink in this. I drove into Cambridge. I went to a stationery store and I bought some ink. You can see all of this on Time with Tata. Yeah, the rest is history. But I remember stressing over like, no one's gonna watch this. And it's my least viewed video over there ever. And I was okay with that. I focus so much on this channel and making sure I'm putting out content that everybody wants to see as much as I can, while also staying true to myself and trying to be creative and do things that I'm passionate about in reselling. And I just ripped the Band-Aid off and I said, I don't care. Time with Tata is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be about my hobbies, my passions, my lifestyle. And I've been really into my planning lately, so I put it up there. So I'm happy. So now that that's up, I feel like I'm back in the saddle again, and I'm looking forward to doing some content over there. When I recap, I kind of think about reflection and plans that I had. This is an Archer and Olive notebook. I have this new system in here where I'm basically using it like a diary, and I'm doing this little pocket page at the beginning of each month. And then I'm just like writing in it like diary style. And so in this pocket, I am putting goals for the month, like personal goals. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to look at my goals, see what I accomplished, and then I'm going to do a new illustration with a new pocket for the month of October, bring over some of those goals, let go of some if I achieve them or whatever. And I just think it's kind of fun. So these were my goals for the month of September. Clean my office space. I think I did do that. New employee, got Tina. New contracts with sponsors. Yes, I'm very excited. I am working with a company I've always wanted to work with. That video will be out, I think, October 19th of this month. Lose 5 pounds. That did not happen. Finish a book. I did finish a book. I read, what did I read? Oh, I read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I finished it in the month of September. So I was very proud of myself because I haven't read a book in a while, thanks to my daughter. She encouraged me to do that. Journal daily, more or less. Under 40 drafts. That did not happen. That was one of my goals, to get my Vendoo my Vendoo drafts to under 40. I'm still in like the 150 mark, but I was over 225 drafts in Vendoo. It was like a draft death pile. And so I'm now at like 155. I've eliminated almost 75 drafts. So that means they either went live and now they are living in Poshmark land, or I deleted them completely and sold them on Whatnot, or it was deleted because it was an item that was damaged and I donated it. So still working on that. Fresh air. Went on a walk today. I've been good about getting outside. Weekly calls with the kids. Morning routine. 2 Peloton rides. I did 1, I didn't do 2, but I hadn't been on my Peloton in like 6 months or something absurd. I think it was 3 months actually. And then Jay's 50th birthday celebration, which we had a great celebration for him. So that is my list of goals for the month. And I just wrote September of 2022 on the back. Now I will do some new goals for the month of October, and I will share my illustration with you next week. So this is Shada Campbell does these Plan With Me videos, and she's just a gorgeous illustrator. I'm obsessed with her. And this was her September Plan With Me. So I only did the front cover, but it's fun. So in finding my rhythm, part of that has been getting in touch with the non-working side of me, and that is something that I really enjoy. Planning really calms me and it centers me and it lets me be creative in different ways. So I've been doing a lot of that. And yeah, I think I am finding my rhythm. We did a lot of traveling in the month of September. We visited Anthony in New York, Angie in Pennsylvania, Rocco in Maine. We went to Boston for the event I talked about. So I am home. I'm happy to say I will be home for a month straight, which is why I'm going back to Weight Watchers this month, because I think I'm going to kind of just be living my boring life, and I'm very excited about that, to just have some consistency. But I knew that September was going to be a big month for me. I had big ambition and a lot of things that I wanted to get done this month. Some I achieved, some I didn't, but overall, I'm feeling really good about things. I'm wondering what you do for a reset in the fall. Is September like your new year, or are you a January new year kind of person? I would love to hear what you do to regroup. If you're into planning, if you have some other system that grounds you, that gets you back into a routine. I personally love fall. I don't think I'm alone in that. Pumpkin spice season, cozy sweater season, snuggling, the leaves changing, all that stuff. It's so up my alley. I hope that you guys are all doing well. Thank you for listening to me talk for all this time. If you enjoyed this lengthy, chatty video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. My next video will be a ship and shop at Savers with my girlfriend Kim. Thank you again so much for watching today's video, and thank you to Vendoo for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to click the link in my description if you want to give Vendoo a try, and you will receive 25% off your first month of service. All right, everybody, I will be back soon. Wishing you a productive, healthy month, and I will be back with a recap next month. Take care.